Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DDP. This is the third part of the reverse engineering assignment. And in this part, we're going to be laying out all of the points in which we're going to be making holes. The holes that we're going to be making will complete our assembly, but a lot of what we're going to be doing is going to be done in the sketch mode. And the placement and dimensioning of the holes is the most important part before actually making them. So let's go to Fusion. But first, let's just talk about this for a second. So this is the blueprint that we're actually going to be using. Some of the things here are typical notation, which means that if there's a dimension there and it has TYP next to it, you can guarantee that that same dimension is used in at least one other part of the blueprint. X notation refers to multiple identical features. And project geometry, and we're going to talk about what project geometry is. It's sort of like a construction line. It highlights certain features that you can then use to dimension off of to align certain features. So we're going to use a combination of project geometry and points and dimensioning to set everything up. So we have a hole here, here, and all of the points where you see these circles. So we're going to be referring to the instructions here, the depth, the dimensions, whether it's a countersink, and whether that countersink or counter bore, and whether that has depth and dimensions and what they are. So we are going to now switch over to our Fusion 360. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Create Sketch, outline that, and let's get this whole thing fit in there. Okay, so when we, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Create, Project, Include, and Project. All right, and what this does is, it's hard to see, but when you hover over it, the edge or the edge here turns red, and when we click it, it turns blue. And these become sides that it becomes easier for you to dimension off of, and we'll use these for our dimensioning. So I'm going to outline these. I'm also going to outline this line and all of the ones that we see here, because we're going to be using all of these things to dimension our points. Let's see here. Okay, got that one. And when you see it turning blue, that means we're good to go. Okay, so all of these lines are good to go. So I'm going to now go to Create and Point, and let's follow our blueprint. So before we make any holes, we are simply just going to put the points. So we're in the point thing, and I'm going to set it. All right, and I'm actually just going to just set holes in the places where they're going to be, not exactly, because we have to dimension to figure out exactly where they're going to be. Look at the blueprint, but in the same general area. Okay. Okay, so that is all of them. Okay, and I'm going to hit D for dimension, and we could tell that is dimensioning because of the icon right there. And what we want is a ½ inch between here and here, and an 1.5 inches between here and here. So I'm gonna put that and this, and put in my 0.5, and that's going to set that there. And now I'm going to go from here to this side, and it's hard to see, but put my 1.5. Okay, and that's going to put it right where I want it to be. Now, I want to point out something. Okay, now all of these points here are white, except for the one that I just put dimensions on. And what that means is that this feature is fully dimensioned. It means that it has been dimensioned against 2 or more sides and now is locked into that position. It cannot move because at least 2 degrees of freedom have been removed and it is fixed to that point. So when a point turns black, it is fixed there and it's fixed there by dimensions. All right, so that one is all set, and I'm going to move to these here. And according to this, we still want this in the same spot where it is a 1.5 inches from, and I really should zoom out so you could see these dimensions. I'm going to do that here. Move all this stuff. And I'm just going to zoom out here. Oops. Okay. Gives us a little more room. All right. So we have dimensioned this one, but we haven't fully dimensioned it because it's still white. So I'm going to go back to my dimensioning tool, and I've so far only dimensioned these 2 points one time. So that is going to be 1.5. Okay, now we needed the right distance between here and this side. All right, and for that, I am getting a 0.075. Okay. Right, so those 2 are set and they turn black. They've been dimensioned by 2 different sides. So we're gonna go here and we want 1/2 inch, right? But we still need to dimension it some other place. So I believe it needs to be aligned to all of these. So we'll do that 1.5. Okay, and that is now set. Okay, so we're now going to go over to here, and what it tells us is that it is a 1/2 inch from here in this side, and let me see here, 1/2 inch, and then 1 3/4 inches from here. So I'm going to dimension this first from here to here, and that's going to be 1.75. Okay, so that places that there. I can bring some of these down as well. Right, and then we're going to dimension it to this side here, and that's going to be 0.5. Okay, now those are all set. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is there is 3/4 of an inch between here and here, and then 1 inch between them. So I'm going to do these first, and then these second. And then we need the spacing between here and here and here and here. I'm going to do that last. I'm first going to center these here. Okay, and then this one and this one. Okay, and now we have to dimension it between here and here, right? And that is telling me that it's going to be 0.15. Okay, I'll just go over here. All right, and both of those moved, and let's just do this one anyhow. Great. So all of them are fully dimensioned except for the last 5. So we already know that between here and here, I believe there was a 0.075. Okay, and between here and here. All right, and then from here to here, we got the 1.5. Oops, sorry, wrong side. Here and here. All right, okay. So now we have our last 3, and what we know is that it's going to be a 0.15 on all sides from here and here, and like the far right side and the top and bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, let's just undo that. Okay, I'm going to go to dimension. Okay. So this is 1. So what I'm going to do is, see here. So we already have a dimension to here. So now we have to dimension it to this line. And that is the right thing. It says it's going to over constrain it, but it still gives it a dimension. And let's see if that is what we need. It's not. Okay, so what we need to do is to dimension it, I guess, to this here. Okay. All right, and now everything is fully constrained. I'm going to get rid of the dimensions in this palette here. And this is what we have. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to do all of the different holes that go into these spots. So I'll see you then.